Good morning, goddammit. Piss and Vinegar Day 50. The big 50, you cunts. Doing legs. I'm gonna start topics today. Might do these in my nucleus overload, which now I just mentioned it, I forgot to do. I'll have to do that later tonight. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm doing traps and forearms every day to increase my nuclei in those muscles. But today's topic is acupuncture. And the reason I'm talking about this is that it works. And I did some today. I went to an acupuncturist that I've been going to for a while for anxiety, which has helped a lot with my anxiety. But today I said, hey man, my back, my hips, my sciatica are fucked. I need your help. I need you to fix my back. And again, I was already skeptical when I first went there for anxiety, but he helped a lot with that. Skeptical today about the sciatica. I wasn't sure if that was going to work because I was like, well, it's muscles and bones, it's a different thing. But anyway, he put some needles in my foot and knees. And this dude, he's old and Chinese and he's hardcore. He's like the stereotypical never satisfied with your actions Chinese dad. He's just always got some reason to be pissed off at you for one of your life choices. Like he'll be like, oh, you get up early. And I'll be like, nah, man, got up at, 8:30 today. And he's like, no, you get up at 7. Like, he's always sounds angry, even when he's happy. But he is one of those rare, genuine acupuncturists that work. Now, acupuncturists like chiropractor, or just about anything, really, personal trainers, physios too, but even more so in chiropractors and acupuncturists, where if you don't get the right one, it's not going to work. It might even make your shit worse. This dude is a proper healer. And, it's funny because I've gone to acupuncturists before and they're always really gentle with the needles. This dude, he wants you to be in pain. And I shit you not, every single time I've gone to him, he's alleviated my problems. Everybody that I know that goes to him alleviates their problems. My mum, she had a heart palpitation. She was freaking the fuck out. Like every minute she would have like 3 or 4 heart palpitations. Goes to this dude. And her palpitations haven't been there since. So he's definitely got he's onto some shit that we us Westerners don't know. Anyway, went there for my back. And just now I was rolling out my glutes, which normally are excruciatingly painful when I roll them out. My glute medius and minimus just hurt so bad to roll out with the ball. Today, I felt virtually nothing. Just one fucking acupuncture session with this dude. 3 hours later, I put the ball on my glutes. Normally, or almost every single time, there is either some pain or excruciating pain most of the time. Today, almost nothing. Very minimal pain, slight discomfort, but nothing. So, definitely something onto this guy. Next time I go, I'm going to try and get him to fix my spinal erectors and my lumbar spine, because I have sciatica. And I have like lower back issues. I have thoracic issues. Like the whole fucking spinal column on my body is fucked. So I'm gonna see what it can do for me. So yeah, if you have any problems, don't knock acupuncture. I think for some personally, I always side on logic in all things. I always try to be as logical as possible. So when I hear things like fucking chakras and shit like that, I go, shut the fuck up, that's all woo-woo bullshit. But at the end of the day, there's a science to everything, and there's probably science to acupuncture that we just can't really necessarily quantify just yet. There's probably something to the human body that we can't quite quantify yet. Central nervous system, or a lot of acupuncture works in the central nervous system, works on the lymphatic system, all these different very complex systems in the body that we don't quite know yet. Until very recently, we didn't even know what the fuck testosterone was. So it's one of those old Western Eastern sciences, sciences essentially. It is a science. And a lot of those things don't fucking work. Like, a lot of herbal teas and stuff. It's like, it's really not going to do a whole lot. But there's definitely something to acupuncture. So don't knock it. If you're like a super left brain logical person like me, sometimes you do need to be slightly open-minded, because otherwise you will listen to propaganda and psyops from Western medicine that would be like, oh no dude, just fucking Your back hurts? Cool. Spend 10 grand on getting your back surgery, and then spend probably anywhere between 50 grand on painkillers after the fact. And yeah, it's not like me and Big Pharma are going to profit massively from it or anything. So there are things that things aren't as they appear a lot of times, and that's kind of the thing with acupuncture, and that's my rant over. So yeah, acupuncture can work for sure. Now I'm moving on to my deadlifts. So that was my warm-ups and my stretching and my hanging and stuff, and just getting everything loose. But the glutes were already loose, so I only had to really roll out my back and do hanging today and a bit of stretching. And yeah, so the deadlifts today felt pretty good. I definitely felt looser throughout my hips. I felt more kind of snappy or less tight, which is probably due to the acupuncture. I didn't feel as much. I didn't feel like a bunch of power output increase. Like, obviously my lower back is still limiting how much my legs can drive, because my legs can, again, probably quite easily drive 170, 180 kilos. But the massive limiting factor is my lower back. It just will not go anything over 140 right now. So this was 137 today, 3 sets of 5. Felt pretty good. And as you can see, I got my toes on those weight plates, and that's to elevate my toes, which takes my hips out of counter nutation, basically giving my hips more space to have a neutral spine, for layman terminology. And yeah, it felt good. Some of the last reps are starting to feel really hard. The first reps always feel really strong, and then my lower back starts to really tire, or not necessarily tire, just doesn't function as well as my legs. And then all of a sudden it's really hard, and they're grinding reps. And I'm very new to deadlifts again. Until recently I haven't done them for a long time, probably 3, 4, maybe even 5 years before I've done them inconsistently since then, but this is the first time consistently doing them for more than 2 months. So my form actually isn't quite there. My central nervous system and my alignment of and the timing and leg drive and bracing and all these different technical efficiencies that come into deadlifts are just not quite there yet. So once I get my lower back up to par with my legs and I get the technique down better, and obviously the trap bar deadlift requires less technique than the barbell, and that's part of why I'm doing it, because I'm more looking for the hypertrophy than the technical gains. But there's still technique involved. There's a lot of environment. My dog was getting in the way here, so I had to stop mid-rep to move him out of the way, because I was afraid that I'd lower the weight and he'd fucking run under it like a retard and get crushed. So mid-rep I had to stop, just in case. You never know with these dogs. But then he ended up running behind me again anyway, so whatever. And shout out to my mate for letting me use his shorts. He left his shorts here, and I don't have any shorts, so these are now my shorts. Very grateful for that, thank you. Although it is not a pretty sight. My fucking legs are very skinny, but hopefully by the end of this bulk they will be more respectable, look a little bit more like tree trunks, resemble more like tree trunks, because as we speak my mid quad is about 21 inches or something, and my calves are like 14 inches, which is smaller than my forearms. It doesn't look like it, but they truly are smaller than my forearms, which is quite unreal. So yeah, hopefully by the end of this bulk you won't have to look at my legs and go, what the fuck is wrong with those legs? And also I'm going to start tanning them, because they're super pasty relative to my upper body. This is the last set, and yeah, it all felt pretty good. It's funny, like even when I was doing more rounded spine deadlifts, it didn't hurt my back. But for the sake of strengthening the lower back, if your back is round, you're not engaging your spinal erectors as much. And I want to strengthen my lower back for other things like squats and stuff. So even though rounded back isn't necessarily the worst thing for deadlifts, so long as it's not exaggerated, for the sake of potentially getting injured, and for the sake of strengthening my lower back, I'm doing these super straight back kind of spinal extension deadlifts. I'm fucking blanking. My mind's blanking. It's hot today, man. It's hot, and I'm tired from this workout. Now, I did my new hack squat, belt squat variation, but my phone didn't fucking record it Thanks, phone. So that sucks. And it was a really brutal set, and I killed it, man. It felt good. I was sweating, heaving, yelling. The hack squat that I've built is pretty fucking good. I just need to tinker it a little bit more, but it didn't get on camera. So but I got my leg extension. As you can see, I've got my leg extension as a two-way thing. The the weight plate. It's a weight-plated machine, and thus you get far less tension at the bottom. So I've added a cable so that the resistance curve is even throughout. So it's 20 kilos on the cable, 20 kilos weight plate, and that way it's 40 kilos all the way through, or maybe like a little bit lighter at the bottom, or maybe a little bit lighter at the top. I'm not totally sure, but I think it was actually a bit too light at the top. So I think I need to add an extra weight plate to this in order to kind of even it out, because the reps would be really, really hard, and then all of a sudden it would get quite easy. So yeah, I might have to add a weight plate. It might need to be like a 1 to 1.5 ratio or something along those lines. I'm just figuring out the ratios, but this felt way better than just using the weight plate, because the weight plate's the resistance at the resistance curve at the bottom. You have like, 20 centimeters of range of motion that's not hard at all. So this makes that way better. And if you have one of these machines, do this. Add a cable attachment to it, or a pulley, and you will get a far better contraction and leg workout out of this machine. If you don't have this machine and you want to buy one, fucking don't buy one. They are shit. The idea that you have to do all this modulation for a $600-700 machine is fucking ludicrous. It's not fun having to set up this machine. So if you have the want to buy one of those machines and you have the space, save up an extra $1,000 and buy a proper one, because that shit is not worth $600. It's worth like $200. And now I'm finishing off, second last exercise is hamstring curl. This is a new variation. I normally do it seated, but again, that machine is such a cunt of a thing to set up, getting my legs in, fucking setting up the cable. It's just, there's so many nuances there that just make it so shit that you don't see when I'm setting it up. So I decided to just do this for the hamstrings, and this honestly feels better anyway. And it's way easier to set up. The resistance curve isn't super great. At the bottom it's less than ideal, but realistically with these hamstring curls, you're more looking just to get that squeeze contraction at the top and then do a slow negative on the way down. So that was fine. This felt really, really good. And I think I need to start doing these every single session, because my hamstrings lack very, very much so, especially my left one, which is dystrophied from sciatica. So yeah, I do this, and then I just do a drop set, because I can't do force reps here. Unfortunately, these would feel really good with force reps, those force negatives and stuff. It's got the perfect kind of resistance curve for that, but I don't have a training partner, so I just do drop sets for this one. I kind of do some force reps at the end using momentum, but it doesn't quite cut it. I just drop it, and then I do a few more reps at the end. I'm keen to see if I can get big legs, because previously, I'll be honest, I've very much slacked on leg training throughout the years. I've been inconsistent. I've always trained arms, I've always trained shoulders. I've trained chest and back sort of lackluster wise. And it shows on my physique. My arms, although genetically gifted relative to the rest of my body, they do have gotten a lot more work than the rest of my body throughout my training. And that's partially because I didn't do high intensity training. With high intensity training, you can give every body part as much love as it needs. Whereas if you're doing volume, some body parts will suffer from the lack of energy at the end of the workouts, which is typically when you put the smaller, less important muscles, or in quotes, less important muscles, but they're oftentimes just as important, if not more, than the main chest, triceps, biceps, etc. And then I finish off with a back extension. So I modified this back extension in order to allow me to contract my back more rather than my hamstrings and glutes, because obviously this is a glute ham raise, but I'm not really interested in training those, because the deadlifts, the squats, the hamstring curls, etc. are training those, and this is just for my lower back. So I've inverted it more, or put it on a 180 degree angle, or a parallel to the floor angle. I don't know, I'm not great with all that kind of geometry shit, in order to allow my lower back to take more of the strain. Obviously my hamstrings and glutes get activated a bit, but nowhere as much as the 45-degree angle glute ham raise. And yeah, this is way harder too. Like, normally I do like a 15-20 kilo plate. This body weight totally suffices, and that's it. And yeah, it's awkward getting out of this stupid fucking machine. And maybe one day it will tip over and I'll smack my head real hard. But for now, it seems to be working. See you guys tomorrow for more piss and vinegar. Bye bye.